Today, Saint Gaming's Overwatch team locked, loaded, and ready to jump into a series that's going to be one to remember. Their opponents, Ohio State University, ready to take on the challenge. Are our boys back at home going to take this series, or are we going to fall? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saint Gaming Overwatch stream. My name is the Sage One. Joining me is Sox. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am doing amazing, and I'm super excited to jump into this one. And the main reason is just because I've never really watched the Overwatch team in action. So this is going to be one where we get to create the narrative for two sets that we get to watch today. And the first one is going to be against Ohio State.
It'll be really interesting to see the two teams play because this is my first time commentating for Overwatch and not my first time watching our St. Clair team play, but the first time actually critically analyzing how they play and not just having it in the background while I'm trying to do homework.
Exactly. And it's going to be really cool because we get to create a narrative. I was slightly touching on that. But since we haven't really watched them too much, is we get to create that narrative. We get to see who the star players are and what they end up pulling out, because we know this meta is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of Sigma we're seeing. There's a lot of Orisa we're seeing. It's a lot of double shield that we're seeing. And it's really hard sometimes to crack through, especially if DPS aren't, breaking down those shields and getting rid of their health, because there's always usually another shield waiting to go up right behind.
It's crazy to watch, and sometimes it can get a little bit hectic if all of a sudden you have an Orisa shield, and then all of a sudden once that goes down, the Sigma shield goes up, and then his goes down. Are we going to be seeing any other tanks, do you think? Maybe the Reinhardt? I love playing Reinhardt a little bit. We could be seeing that.
We could, seeing the Reinhardt shield up, and then once his goes down, Orisa popping hers in front, protecting the Reinhardt a little bit so he can swing some hammers.
Exactly.
Let it go out.
That's all it really is. But in my silver games, that's what I like to do. In the other games, I have really no idea. We haven't really been seeing D.Va too much, right? The self-destruct. It's not really that useful? Not
right now. Not when you have two shields. One can go behind, one can go in front, and you can kind of igloo your team in and protect it from that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Other than that, we got the DPS category that we could talk about a little bit. What have we been seeing in terms of that? Because the last time I watched, I saw a lot of Reaper and Doomfist, but...
Yeah, Reaper is really good for taking down shields. His damage output is really good for getting at least one shield down, and Doomfist can follow up by knocking a tank just out of place. So Reinhardt doesn't have the capability of just... Not like Orisa, where Orisa can stabilize herself and avoid the knockback.
Yeah.
Reinhardt doesn't have that, so he can get knocked back, his shield will go down, and he'll be stunned for a second, and you can take him out of play.
Yeah, so there's that, and then the supports. The support category, I've always seen Mercy and Moira as the solid two. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I take a lot of damage and I want my healers to heal me a lot. But we were talking a little bit about it. We were saying Lucio could be coming up. Any others?
You could see Anna. Her sleep dart would be effective for knocking a tank out. But I think for healing output, a Mercy and a Moira are good, because when Moira, her damage cooldown is down or her healing spray is down, she can throw out a ball and she can heal from long range if she needs to.
It could be really cool to watch all of these cool little comps coming together, and we get to theory craft as we go on and see what is the best team comp for each of these teams. We get to know these players and what they absolutely love to play. At least in my experience, when you're watching collegiate, they put together one squad, but then they have a couple of backups. Right? They have one solid backup squad that they absolutely love to run. Obviously, in Overwatch, there's no bans. So we get to watch these guys on their comfort characters as well as on their comfort maps.
So there's a chance we'll be seeing Orisa.
Okay.
I have a strong feeling we're going to be
they were talking
Orisa on the map. Just a little bit. I can hear it just in the background a little bit. We could probably see a Sigma. Orisa Sigma combo.
Yeah.
For DPS, it's possibly Reaper Doomfist, like you were saying. For support, maybe Lucio Moira combination. That would be an interesting combination. You'd have the speed and healing, as well as a little bit of damage from Moira.
Right. Yeah, the sound barrier is one that you usually like to look at, and you're like, all right, that's the engage tool. That's the one that they're gonna put down right when they want to get onto a point or whenever they want to contest an objective of some sort. What else? We were thinking about maps. We were thinking about maps a little bit. What maps do you think we're going to be seeing today?
Nepal. I think we're going to see Nepal come out. I think we're going to see it come out early. The contesting points, trying to go both teams competing for the exact same thing and trying to take hold of it and hang on to it for the full extent of the time.
Yeah. So Nepal, we were hearing a little bit about that. It's going to be a really awesome map to see what these guys end up pulling out. We're just getting into the lobby itself, so we'll just be a couple of more seconds before we finally jump into this one. But we were also hearing King's Row, and this is one that everyone loves. Everyone talks about this map as the kind of that's the map. That's the one. So usually on that map in particular, and I don't know if it's just because I'm in low elo, I say that constantly, but I see Farah. I see pharmacy all across that map. Do you think that we're going to be seeing that today?
Maybe a little bit. Pharmacy works because you have the 2 walls when you first go in. So having a way to get over that without having to go either around or break through a really good front line, you just kind of cheat by just going over and down.
It's better to go over sometimes than it is to go through, and that's kind of the quote that we're going to be looking at here today. We were looking over at my producer, and he was like, "Nope, we're not seeing Farah. That is not what we're seeing today." You can obviously think of so many other combos that we get to watch here, but we were talking a little bit before this about the PTR and all of the changes that are going to be going over to that, and it seems like there's a lot of focus on the tanks.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think as a support, it'll be nice getting my tank back up to full health because there's less health to fill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, your tanks are going to be a little bit squishier. They're going to be a little bit easier to break through.
That's the one thing I do is I walk into the enemy team and I'm like, why didn't my support heal me? But it's just the easy blame game. Just blame your support. I'm doing all the damage as Reinhardt. All right, I'm getting sidetracked here.
A little bit.
It's a lot of pent up rage from playing in bronze and silver, but we're almost done. We're almost jumping into this one here. We can see all of the teams being loaded up. Are we in the lobby almost? Almost in the lobby as we almost jump into this one. If we can get that all set up, we could be really good. Were there any changes to supports on the PTR?
There was a nerf to Moira that I noticed. Her range is getting reduced as well as her healing output. So she's going to be doing a little bit less healing per second than she has in the past.
So yeah, Moira is one that I always look at as one of the solidified supports in the meta just because she could do so much. All right, she's got the damage, she's got the healing, she got her damage ball, she got the healing ball. It's really good, and then the ultimate just can go through shields. In a shield meta, that is super, super useful. And we see all of these lineups here on our screen, and these guys are locked and loaded. I'm so excited for this one.
And look, we are playing Nepal first map.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, we've seen this map, and there's so many possibilities for this one as well. The one thing I love about Nepal, and I think in particular the one on the preview, I'm not too sure what it's called, but I know that there's three. There's 3 of them. Yeah. Right? The one that we see or at least in the preview screen is one where it's all inside, right? Yeah. There's that 2 sides and there's that one little control point in the middle. One thing I absolutely love about that is that there's possibilities. I always love maps where there's just different things that you can do, different strats that you can pull out. Are all 5 going to be going on the right side to flank around, right? Or are they just going to go around to the point straight up?
That's true. There's many things you could do. You could have 2 or 3 people going right in to the point, kind of going around the side, while you have one person sneaking around to drop down and try to take their team out. But you could also have split off to the side, like half the team goes one way, half the team goes the other way, and kind of converges around. Yeah. And then everybody could just drop in, go through that little room, come out, and if there's a Lucio, he could push the entire enemy team right off the side, right into the hole.
That's the one thing I always fall for, the Roadhog hook, or the Lucio boop, or the Farah thing. I don't
stay away from ledges. That's your
just stay away. See that?
Just be mindful. See where they are. Go the other way.
Just don't go near the ledge is the tip of the day over here. But I think the one thing that struck out to me, at least on that map in particular, was Junkrat. I don't know if we'll be seeing Junkrat whatsoever because his damage, or at least his little grenades, aren't really reliable. You have to get up close and personal with the opponent in order to really deal a whole lot of damage. But just chucking grenades into a small area sounds really nice to me. Yeah, I don't know why. It's a lot of AoE. The Rip Tower could be kind of cool. I like Junkrat. I love Junkertown. I don't know why I like them so much, but it's really cool.
I think in this instance, there's not a lot of space for his bombs to bounce off of. You could kind of fire them down into that room, but there's no guarantee you'll hit the angle for it to bounce right out into the enemy team. Sad. The Riptire doesn't have a lot of hidden spaces where it can maneuver. You're kind of limited to going around.
Yeah. What about a Mei? Mei's kind of cool. I like the Blizzard.
May would be interested in keeping
Yes.
everybody frozen on point.
Yeah.
And then with a Lucio, again, you can just boop them off. Or with a Pharah, you can boop them off. And it's an easy, little bit of an easy environmental.
I like how you're the one that everyone else sees for the analysis, and I got my trusty producer on the left, and he's just like, yes, that's exactly what we're gonna be seeing. So that's gonna be awesome. We're almost gonna be jumping into this match. All these guys are locked, loaded, and ready to go. But I don't know. Are we good? We're getting to go soon. No one's talking to me. It's fine. Almost. So I think, honestly, Baker, I think we got to send it off to a very quick break as we get ready to get into this game because we've ran out of things to say. But guys, don't go anywhere. TESPA Overwatch, St. Clair versus Ohio will be up in just a bit. And as we jump into this one, we finally have our two teams ready to go as we jump onto this point. And we're going to be getting into this one in just a little bit. Once again, if you guys forgot, my name is the Safe One. Joining me is Sox. We're going to be watching St. Clair versus Ohio. And we're going to be jumping into this one in just a couple of seconds. We can see the prep timer going down. In just a couple of seconds here, we got 14 seconds left on the clock. Everyone just going to be joining these teams as well, choosing their heroes. We don't see it just yet, but we were talking about so many options. And in an open map just like this one, there's so many things that can happen.
And here we go.
All right, we get to see all of these different comps coming together. We see the Sigma Orisa like we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
There we go. We see the Moira Lucio like you predicted earlier, but we're starting to see these other options come out as well. The Doomfist, what we predicted, but then we also see the Hanzo. I don't know if he's going to switch that one out.
Oh. It was Reaper for a second there. I did notice that, so I thought they were going to go a little typical. And now we have a Mei on the board. So this should be interesting.
There we go. We're starting into this one. Sigma without the nerfs to his kit just yet, so it's going to be full on Sigma, full on Orisa. Yeah, you were talking about the Mei that's going to be swapped out. And we see the little barrier coming out. What did you want to say?
Pharah Mercy in the background. I just wanted to
there you go.
The other team's already starting with it.
That's what I was predicting earlier. But we get to watch this one and how it all pans out. We can see St. Clair so far. They're on the point. They want full on control. Like you were saying, that there's a little igloo that is coming out so far. Mike going to be destroying and also going for one. Jub gets another one. We see the Doomfist on the point. Going to be getting gatted in the back. Walla is also going to be taking out the Doomfist. But now the Reaper right onto the Sigma. Sigma going to be dropping very low. We switch over to Jesse as he gets back over to the point. But Jub going insane.
I did notice the Mei did a really good job of blocking off the Orisa with her wall and keeping her stuck on the point so they could hopefully kind of knock her health down, knock her shield down, make her a little bit useless to her team. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that one. You can see how St. Clair just have complete domination over the points so far here in this match. I absolutely love their game plan. It's just try and stay on the point. Maybe the Reaper goes into these little corridors and just allows himself to pop off, or at least the team allows him to pop off. I love his two shields on either side of the structure as we see Doomfist being taken very low. And Reaper's not going to be getting that kill. He did a lot of the damage though. It's going to go right into the pocket, but we see Sigel getting a triple kill as well. Going to be taking out Jussie. Going to be doing a whole lot of damage as well here on the Moira. We're going to be getting onto the opponent Moira and use the Coalescence. Just do a lot of damage, going to be taken out at the end of the day, which is kind of sad. But it's still good as St. Clair. They've collected almost 50%, 49% on the point, as 3% just going to be going over to the opponents.
They're just going to wait a bit, regroup at least. Lucio's going to hang out with the DPS, kind of see what they're doing before they go back out there. The nice thing that we saw the Pharah go in, use her ultimate, and kind of get destroyed.
Right.
And that's the tough thing about Pharah on this map in particular. She has no aerial access to the point. So if she goes in, uses her ultimate, she's very, very susceptible to taking a lot of damage and death, as we saw.
Yeah, she ended up getting a triple kill, but the Blizzard going to be used here to start off the whole entire point. Kingdom Heart not going to be using his ultimate, but that is going to be Reaper using his, getting a double kill off of that one. Dimaj going to be getting a double kill for himself as the Orisa, and that's the point, going right back into the hands of St. Clair.
There you go. The combination of using May's ultimate and Reaper Death Blossoming really helped get the point back for St. Clair. Now they just got to hold it.
That's it. Sometimes it's very simple teamwork that gets you guys together. We see the opponent's Ohio State is going to be going through these little corridors on the left-hand side, and it's really nice that they communicated that because immediately the Orisa wall came up. Reaper going to be going onto the top, going to try and pick off the Doomfist. Is it going to be successful? Yes, it is. Jub going to get that one. Doomfist ultimate going to come. Actually, no, it's the Sigma ultimate going to come out. Not going to do a whole lot of damage just yet. Luffy going to now get a res. Jussie getting one for himself. Fat Mike going to get one kill for himself as Jub tries to clean up. Jub with two. We see Moira with one more, and Crypto getting one kill for himself, which is absolutely amazing. Kingdom Heart is just going to try and heal his team as best as possible as he speeds them up.
Oh, it was kind of beautiful to see how the Sigma ult wasn't effective on the point because they hit the ceiling. So the distance between them and the ground is not that high. You're not going to get that much damage out of that.
It only did about a quarter, and even at that, they had the healers with them. So it was just completely fine, right? St. Clair, they know exactly what they're doing here on this map with the heroes that they have chosen. It's really good that we're seeing the Mei, we're seeing the Doomfist come out being super effective. We see the Widow switch, but nah, Jub, we know him. He's probably going to go back to the Reaper. Oh, maybe not. Who knows? It's the prep phase, so he's going to be switching.
Oh, and we see a Pharah pop on the screen now as well. Pharah is actually pretty good on this map because she has her boop and Lucio has his own boop, so they can both push people off of the map. And it's easy to access. It's not like the other map where she has no access to the point from the air. In this one, as long as she gets through these doorways, she has access to stay up and above and away from the enemy team.
Sometimes one boop is better than two, and that's what we're going to be seeing here for St. Clair as Pharah takes to the sky, and that's a lot of damage going to the back corner. Jub going to get the first kill. Walla going to get the second. He ended up switching from Mei, as there is actually a Mei that is in front and ends up using her wall as Lucio kind of gets trapped on the other side. Tu Lung going to now get a kill for himself. Walla going to get a second kill for himself there on this map. They're going to be killing the Mei. Can anything more happen? The Roadhog going to miss his hook initially as Crypto going to put up a shield. Fat Mike in the background gets himself a double kill. Roadhog getting a second one as they shove St. Clair off of this point.
It seems like the other team did a really good job of picking people off as soon as they were separate from somebody else.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you on that one. And Wallace finding out that the Pharah, not really too effective. Going to switch right on back over to the McCree. And also, good guy Lucio going to go back onto the point just to grab his tank that he definitely needs. St. Clair, they're coming into this map with one win underneath their belt so far here on this map. So they're very, very confident. Can they take the second one? As we see all of the ult charges coming up here, we see that Hanzo almost is there at 97. Jussie, he's at 98. All of these combos could be coming out very, very soon. 99 now. Walla going to be getting his first kill, and we see the Dragon Strike coming out. Not going to actually kill anybody for the time being, but it is going to be a lot of damage. Orisa, Jussie now going to get himself a kill. Jussie getting himself 2 kills here on the Moira. Luff just ends up taking out one tank, but it is completely fine because the Moira is going to absolutely pop off as Walla ends up cleaning out the squad.
Teamwork makes the dream work when one support makes it so the other support can survive. Because if Moira hadn't been there, our Lucio would have died.
Yes.
He would not have survived that.
No. Sometimes you got to rely on your supports to heal the supports. There's a little bit of a there's a pun and there's a joke in there somewhere that I'm trying to find, but I can't really find it right now, and that's completely fine as Ohio State make their way back onto the point itself. The healing ball going to be going into the room. Crypto kind of runs in 1v4, or the opponents ran in 1v4 and found their pick that they need to start this point, as the Blizzard is going to be coming out from Ohio State. It's probably going to shove out our guys, St. Clair. Gonna so far go 1-for-1. Jub though, really nice peel coming out. The Lucio with almost the boop gonna be coming out as well. Dragon Strike back onto the point itself, as Hanzo not gonna be grabbing any kills, but Walla says, don't worry DPS, I got you, as Kingdom Heart grabs 1 kill. Crypto as well. Potato's gonna grab a kill for himself over on Ohio State. And it looks like St. Clair, they're doing fine.
They got it solid. They let the other team have it for maybe half, and now they're taking it back. Like, no, this point is ours. We're gonna hold on to it.
Crypt, my bad. Yeah, his name is Crypt. One of the producers just told me that. I thought it was Crypto. It's completely fine. As Jub switches right on over to the Widow. We've seen the flicks. Can he grab one more? I always love seeing those whenever they actually do connect the poison. Little poison bug gonna go onto the wall, and as I'm saying that, Jussie now has advantages to do a lot, as the sound barrier from the opponents are gonna be coming out. It means that the enemy team has a little bit of extra damage. Fat Mike grabs 1 kill with his Bob, as Potatoes gonna be killing Walla's damage, as well as Crypt. Gonna be destroying that ultimate. Oh, right off the ledge, Jub. Kind of goes where no man should, and Holly gonna grab 2 as well, as Tulug gonna grab the final kill as they cap this point.
Moira does have her ultimate, which she can use really at any point, but holding on to it until you get into a good position where you can do a lot of healing and also a lot of damage at the same time would be ideal.
Yeah, it would definitely be if we can see her do that effectively, as Lucio's just going to go back to grab anybody that he can, or at least anybody that's at the base itself. Coalescence is definitely available, as the map is going to 96%. They got to get on it, St. Clair. If they want to try and win this, they've got to get the kills. Jub going to go 1-for-1 so far. Jussie going to grab a kill for himself, which is really nice. Kingdom Heart also ends up just punching the Mei in the left room. We were talking about this area, and it's such a high contested area. Walla gonna grab 2 kills for himself, as well as Crypt, as they cap the point at 85%.
Now they just need to hold it. They give it even a little bit, the other team will take it, and there's only a small chance that overtime will save them. We have no idea if the ultimates on the enemy team are up, but what we do know is Kingdom Heart. He's got his so far. 55 on Orisa, or like 94 on Orisa. Jub gonna grab a first kill, gonna grab a second kill. This dude's popping off. He tried to look for a third and wasn't able to get the flick, but it's still fine. Kingdom Heart gonna grab a kill for himself as well. You see the wrecking ball going into the room, and Jub is on the right side, and nobody is focusing the DPS. Crypt ends up suiciding, but it's fine, as Doomfist tries to contest St. Clair 2-0 on their first map. There they go.
There you go. Game number 1 in the hands and in the pocket. We also get to see play of the game over here, Jussie. Let's see this one. Saw a little. No,
nope,
just kidding. Colin? Just kidding. Oh, you guys baited me. It's fine. But
no play of the game.
No play of the game. Everyone's just looking over at him. What are we doing here? But it's fine. Yeah, we saw that amazing map come out from St. Clair. What do you think of that one? That was crazy.
I thought it was cool. The last one, I had a little bit of doubt that St. Clair could come back. They went into overtime. The Mei popped onto the point, iced herself off, which gave her team enough time to get back and kind of push St. Clair off so they could cap that last little bit, but St. Clair came in clutch. I always love seeing the switches come out in the last little bit of the match, just to see who they switch to, what they switch to, and what we're going to be, or what they're thinking going into the next map. Because right when the point hits 100, that's it. They got to switch. They got to switch mentality. All right, we ended up winning this one. We can ride off of this momentum, but now we have to switch mindsets over to this next map. Yeah, right. Because now we're going from a control area to a payload. Exactly. Where you're not just trying to push the payload forward, you have to capture the point first. So if the team doesn't capture the point, then it gives the other team the opportunity next time to get an easy round. Yes, Kings Row is one of those maps where we get to see a lot of different diversity come out. Are they going to be switching characters once they cap the point is the big question that I want to ask. And we're going to have that answer actually right now. I was going to send it off to a break, but we're fine. We're jumping right back into this next match. But yeah, do you usually see that where they just immediately switch heroes as they cap the point, or it's just same comp? Sometimes it'll go to the same comp until they die. After they experience their first death, I'll find that a lot of people I play against will either switch the hero that they're playing. I know I've done it before as a support. I've done it where I've switched from Lucio to capture the first point to Moira, or the reverse, actually.
Yeah.
I'll switch from Moira to Lucio so we can push that point a little bit further down the line, a little bit faster.
Yeah, we'll see what these guys end up bringing out here, and we can already see the little bit of the prep phase coming out as we see Moira Lucio going on to the support category. And actually, the DPS going to be getting locked in. We see Walla going to go back on his signature, the McCree. He actually ended up really popping off on this pick, and Jub is another one of these players that I want to touch on, because this dude, oh my goodness, he's kind of like the DPS king of St. Clair.
You know what's funny? I have a coworker who actually knows Jub, and she's talked to him about before.
Yeah.
But last time I worked with her, she called him, and she was like, yeah, my coworker says you play DPS, so you're crap. And I'm like, ooh.
A little bit of smack talk coming in.
A
little bit of smack talk coming in, but so far from what we see, Jub is the guy to look at as well. Walla is kind of like that secondary. He's the guy that can pop off, definitely. But we'll see if he can end up popping off here on this map. We see the McCree, all the reloads going to be coming in. He goes into the right room as he wants to get behind the opponents. The Orisa right click. Gonna so far grab a couple of these members as the Sigma Shield gonna be going very low. Jub actually being taken out. First of all, usually we don't see that, but he's gonna be getting flanked on. But we see on the other side, Walla gonna grab his first kill here of this match. Walla actually gonna be grabbing a second kill here on this point. He's gonna be defending this really well as the rest of his team just try and heal up and get on this point.
We see the shields coming out, Moira doing her job, healing, throwing the balls through. It's a good fight so far.
Definitely so far from what we've seen. It almost feels like this fight is just not stopping, because we see the opponents with constant aggression onto this little point. But I love where St. Clair are looking right now. They're standing almost kind of to the right of the actual point. They're not standing on it. They don't want to really they don't want to do that so far. But Farah gonna grab a single kill for herself, and immediately Jub grabs one. Walla is the one to fall on this point as Jussie grabs another kill for himself, as Crypt just gonna try and stay on this point, try and defend as best as possible. He's gonna take in a lot of damage, but it's not gonna be enough, as Damage himself is gonna be the one to fall next. Potatoes is gonna be the one to pick that one up, as Farah gonna grab a second point, and Holly gonna finish this one off over on the side of St. Clair. This one is kind of hard to defend here in game number 2 on Kings Row in particular. So they are gonna be getting aced for the time being, and they're just gonna be pushed off the control point.
The nice thing about Kings Row is that you do have another choke point right off the bat that you can hold really well. And the struggle with it is, once too many people on your team die on that first capture point, it's really hard to hold your position.
Yeah.
Especially when your spawn is so far away from the actual capture point.
Exactly. It's crazy. It almost kind of seems like a lot of these maps, and on these hybrid maps at least, it's a lot of what we see. The spawn point is very far away, and they almost kind of have one chance to hold it. Jub was the one to fall first, but he ended up kind of redeeming himself. But you see him now, he's just trying to charge up his ultimate. Not trying to show himself just yet, just so he doesn't reveal his location, but he can see exactly where the payload is and where all of the opponents are. 99% is the one that we're trying to look at. As he kind of gets spotted out, he's going to launch his ultimate. Is he going to grab anybody for the time being? No, it is not, as Baptiste is going to save the Bastion that is on the point. So far, Potato is going to be grabbing one kill for himself. Tu Lung as well, going to grab a second kill as he ends up spotting out Jub. Crypt, we see Fat Mike, and is just going to try and do a lot of damage. And he definitely does a lot of damage as he takes out the Lucio. Jub going to come back from base as a Genji on this one, and that's going to be a very easy point, or at least the first checkpoint, going to be taken for Ohio State.
One of the hardest things to combat with the double shield meta is a Bastion between two shields on the point.
Yeah, it's so incredibly hard, and we ended up seeing that there, as the Dragon Strike just kind of came out of nowhere and was not able to do anything. And a lot of that was attested to the Baptiste.
His immortality field coming up and protecting the Bastion in that clutch moment gave Ohio State the opportunity to kind of reset and come back and push St. Clair away from the payload.
Exactly, and we can see so far, Walla actually ends up switching over to the Bastion, is not able to have the shield force that the opponents did. You can see the Sigma ultimate going to be coming out, going to get 3 people. Going to first try and destroy the Baptiste or shield, like you were saying, and it's just not going to be able to do it. Crypt only going to grab 1 kill for himself, but is it enough? As Luffy going to be rezzing the Bastion, and it definitely does not seem so. It kind of seems like St. Clair, they're going to fall, but Walla going to get back onto the point. Can they keep this contested? Answer going to be no for the time being. Bastion going to use his ultimate to try and close out this map as Orisa tries to do as much damage as possible to the opponents. We can see her little barrier on top of the payload as well. We can also see the Baptiste. It's so much damage going to be coming out from our opponents over at Ohio State, and it's not going to be enough from our boys back at home, St. Clair. They're not going to do it. They're not able to take this round 1 for themselves.
And we saw there with the Baptiste Mercy combination, the enemy team had a lot of just support, just a lot of sustainability, a lot of life just going back into them. They weren't losing more health than they were getting back.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of repositioning and a lot of hero switching, right? I was talking about that, where on the first charge you got to see all the different hero combos, but then all of a sudden the complete tone switch where you had to push a payload, and you got the Bastion on the payload as well as a Baptiste just to try and keep them invincible, my bad, and try and pair him up with different little heroes. That definitely worked out.
I agree, and a well-supported Bastion is the inevitable.
That's it.
Because you're done. You can't do anything about it. He's got too much support on his end.
Exactly. When there's a Bastion on a payload and he's got double shield, he's got the Baptiste, he's got insane amount of healing from the Moira. What can kill it at that point? St. Clair thought the answer to that was going to be the Genji, and it's not going to be for the time being. But now it's a complete switch, because now St. Clair, they don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Now they got to worry about their own comp. They're now going back onto the offensive, and they've got to switch mindsets from defending a payload and defending a point to now getting onto a point and attacking on this payload.
Now they have to kind of also push it harder and faster than the enemy team. They have to give themselves some time, and when they come back, hopefully they can hold the point for long enough that Ohio State can't.
Yeah.
Can't make a comeback from that.
You can see the Symmetra going down onto the little kind of the head of the statue in the middle of the center, and you can see this is a crazy strat. I've never seen this before. Maybe this might be common in pro play, but you got the Bastion on top of the head of the statue with a Sigma right in front with a bunch of Symmetra turrets all around him. This is absolutely crazy, as Bastion going to be taking out a couple of turrets here to start out the round as well. Jub going to grab his first kill. Damage as well, or Damage going to grab his own kill for himself. Going to be focusing on a lot of these members. Going to take out the shield of Orisa, and Orisa has nothing to defend herself with, and that's going to be the kill, as Walla is going to try and destroy his opponents, as Jub just going to take full-on credit for that, as he was the one that did most damage. Beautiful strat coming down on King's Row, as this is just the complete annihilation of St. Clair so far in this round.
A good Symmetra on your side who knows TP placement and can get you places you typically wouldn't be able to get to can absolutely break the game. That
was 2,000 IQ. I have never seen that before, and I was so incredibly shocked. That was awesome coming down here onto this map. You can see Jub just going for a little bit of a flank here. Just going to be launching his orbs into the back line of his opponents. And he's just going to go right on back onto the payload itself. Don't overextend too far and get caught out. Just try and do some very basic stuff, as the Maywall gonna so far go onto the point itself, as Walla is gonna be healed up so far from the Mercy. You could see the Orisa doing a whole lot of damage to his opponents. Walla gonna grab his first kill here of the round, gonna grab his second kill of the round. Can he grab a third? Yes, he can, and he's got configuration tank, as he's going to use that now. Jub gonna grab one, Jub gonna grab two. 2 main kills onto 2 main DPS is going to mean St. Clair get to take this point way faster than Ohio State did on the last one.
Oh, it's just a very aggressive playstyle coming from St. Clair, and I love seeing it.
Yeah.
It gets me pumped up. Like, my heart is racing, my hands are shaking. I'm like,
whoa.
ooh, let's go.
We get to see all these different strats coming out, and this is why you scrim, ladies and gentlemen, because you get to pull out all of these strats. But I might have spoken too soon, as he's going to be getting rezzed. Walla ends up falling, but he does get rezzed by Kingdom Heart. Can he end up, can he kite this a little bit enough to get his configuration tank? Yes, he is. He's going to be getting survivability damage as well as flat damage from himself. The Sigma ultimate going to be going out. He's going to catch a couple of people here to start off this round. Configuration tank is still available for himself as he's doing a whole lot of damage. He's going to grab his first kill here of this map. Crypt going to grab a kill for himself. Crypt going to grab a second kill for himself. Going to grab a third to finish that one off. And he's going to just destroy the Orisa ultimate just to flex on his opponents. Jub and Jussie going to finish off that charge with 2 kills of their own.
Watching the Sigma do his best to try to protect the Bastion, but once Bastion fell the second time, he was like, it's my time. I'm going to pop off now.
I am the star of the show is exactly what he is saying here on this map. Going to round that corner as Jub actually gets collapsed on. Kind of forgets that Symmetra only has 200 base health, and I definitely forgot that one, as he ends up just getting bursted as he tried to go for a flank. As we see the opponents now going to be using the Blizzard just to disrupt chaos and just going to allow themselves a little bit of a break. We see 4 fall on the side of St. Clair as they just reset, go back to their healing spot and just think their thoughts.
Just kind of wait, just kind of chill. Both the Bastion and the Symmetra have their ultimates, so seeing where and when they pull them out will be really interesting. Symmetra's ultimate will create a giant shield that just goes around the entire map.
Yep.
So seeing how she pulls that off.
I want to see how she pulls that off as well, as she does not use that just yet, as Sigel ends up grabbing 1 kill for himself. Jub going to grab a first kill to start off this round with one of his little turrets, as we can see the Bastion going absolutely insane. Kingdom Heart going to be rezzing one of our allies as Jub grabs a second kill, grabs a third kill, grabs a 4th kill for himself, as the rest of the team is just going to be going absolutely insane as they try and get on this point and just push it to their finale.
My heart, again, my heart. I got a little too into it. I'm like, ooh.
Sometimes as a caster, you're just watching and you're just
I got a little
hands
lost
on knees.
In the moment.
You get hands on knees in moments like this, and you have no idea what to say. And I do not blame you for that one whatsoever. As well, going to grab a first kill of this set as this kind of final push. Damage going to grab a first kill for himself. Jussie going to get his little thing destroyed as Walla going to do a whole lot of damage to try and get through the Mei barrier. Mei on the opponent's side going to drop the Blizzard so far. Can't you grab any kills for herself as Jub is in the background, not going to be able to grab any kills for himself. Walla, damage, and Crypt going to all fall. Kingdom Heart as well going to fall. It's super unfortunate. Jussie going to finish that one off as we see Jub just trying to kite back and just do as much damage as possible to the opponents that are trying to push them back into the base.
Mei is a really good pick against St. Clair because before their team comp didn't have as much mobility.
Yeah.
You can see with the switch to Moira and Lucio, they can now kind of avoid getting stuck in that Mei trap because that's the second time Mei has kind of caught the team out.
That's it. Yeah, Mei is kind of like the one guy or person, character, hero, whatever you want to call it, that we have to look at. I'm going to get it right eventually as Crypt ends up getting 1 kill for himself using his ultimate. You can see that Jub is not being targeted whatsoever, and I spoke a little bit too soon as Crypt is going to grab his first kill. Walla going to grab a second for their squad as Moira is in the backline. Nobody is on her so far. There's 3 in the backline that we need to take out. We're going to take out 1, but the 2 and the 3rd one that ended up respawning is going to go inside of her ice cube. As the rest of St. Clair, can they pick up their opponent and finish off this round? They only got a minute or 2 to do so. Walla going to grab 2 kills for himself. As we see 1 more in the back line, just trying to get targeted. Luffy going to be going down. Jub is going to grab 1. Going to grab a second, or kind of going to grab a second. High Noon going to be coming out, and that's going to be the Mei wall just to try and block her off as Jub going to take out Sigel. Fat Mike going to go down. Fat Mike going to grab 1 more for himself. I'm spinning everywhere. We're going crazy. And they're grabbing their first 3 points here.
So unfortunately for St. Clair, they do have less time when it comes to pushing their point. Ohio State has 3.5 minutes to push the point. So St. Clair has to hold strong, and hold fast.
And they only have, if they do cap the point, if they do cap the control point, do they get a minute or do they get a minute and a half? Do you remember?
That's a good question.
I have no, yeah. That's one thing that we have to figure out. Because if so, 30 seconds is not that much of a gain. If they're gaining a minute 30 on this point, then you can imagine that this 3 minutes and 24 seconds is going to evolve into something that's going to be a lot longer than that. We'll have to see what it eventually turns into as we watch this one out. But so far on St. Clair, we don't see any hero changes on this map. We do see the Baptiste. I don't think Baptiste. Yeah, he's new.
Baptiste is fairly new, yeah.
I think he's new. He's new here, at least on the side of St. Clair. We haven't really seen Baptiste too much. We saw him just a little bit, but
They've held Baptiste for a pretty long time before switching off to, I believe, Moira Lucio when they were running this exact same kind of composition.
We'll see if the squad wants to pull the exact same thing, or at least the exact same strat that we saw in the last one, where you put the portal on top of the head, and it just works. Sometimes it just works. And Pearl going to go onto the ledge, but Bastion just going to quickly get off of that one as he realizes that's not the spot that he wants to go to here in this round. What do you want to say?
With a Pharah, they're expecting it. They're looking up high for the Bastion from above.
Ooh, the Fat Mike gonna grab his first kill here onto the damage, but it's gonna be the res coming through here for Kingdom Hearts. We see all of these shots gonna be going back and forth, and the hit scan is sometimes the name of the game here, and Bastion just needed to get his turret set. As you saw Pharah going into the sky, and Pharah just going to go right behind the wall. You see the Reaper coming in from the left-hand side, going to try and flank, and it's not going to be successful for the time being. You see all of the little, the Pharah cannon is going to be coming down here onto the ground, but Bastion just going to get completely solidified inside of the different shields. As we get onto the point, we're going to slowly contest this point as we only have 13 seconds, so nobody can fall here on this point. A couple of kills going to be going over. First off, it's going to be Walla. Are they able to do any more? We see the ultimate going to be coming in, and 4 members going to be dragged into a little circle, but it's not going to do anything for the time being. Walla going to use his ultimate. Jub going to grab a second kill for his team. Walla going to grab a second kill for himself. Jub and Walla 2 apiece, 3 and 3. Both of the DPS just going to take out their opponents as we try and push this payload in overtime.
Now they have to push it as far as they can in overtime while staying on the point. So ideally, they'll keep the Bastion on there, keep the Bastion protected.
Yes.
And do their best to try to combat the Pharah Mercy.
That's why they ended up grabbing the Baptiste. Now we're starting to see the 200 IQ plays coming out, because the Baptiste was the one that they didn't actually need to switch to, right? They don't really have a whole lot of time when they have 2 minutes, right? They don't have enough time to die, switch characters, and then go back. They had to plan for this stage in particular. And since they have it, now that's when they're going to be prospering towards getting this overtime, or at least as much out of this overtime as possible. As we see a lot of barriers going to be coming out. Bastion going to try and get a couple of kills for himself, but we're going to see the Baptiste coming so far. Walla going to grab a first kill for himself on the Pharah, but did he take into mind the rest of the opponents around him? No, he did not, as it's going to be complete annihilation. Ohio State going to take this one, or at least they're going to stop their opponents, is what I meant to say, as the payload ended up getting pushed a lot of the ways, but not to the first checkpoint.
They only have 1 more point to them, so now St. Clair can't give any room.
Exactly. We have to see some sort of a full-on defensive comp come in, as we see one of the opponents. No, someone ended up leaving, but no, it's fine. We're good. I got a little bit scared for a second. I thought we would have to go for a pause, but we're not. We're good. We get to finish off this map with ease as we get to see what St. Clair pull out. What do you think of this comp so far? We see May Bastion over on DPS, a little bit of a switch.
Seeing the Mei, she can kind of create a wall that prevents the enemy team from busting through that first point in King's Row. So that'll be a good kind of breather in case St. Clair needs to kind of recuperate or regroup on the point itself.
Exactly.
And kind of hoping to see them play around the corner like they did previously. It gives them a bit more time to react and see if their opponents come out 1, 2, 3 at a time. They can pick people off in a line.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to have to be looking at here in this match. And we can see so far they're just setting up their kind of defense here on this map so far, on this point number 1 that we've been seeing just so frequently. As we count down the timer, we're going to finally jump into this match. I want to see what the opponents pull out. Are we going to be seeing a Pharah? Because we ended up seeing that just a little bit, but it's only really effective here on this first point.
We can see that Farah again right there.
Yeah.
We called it.
Exactly. The Farah and the Mercy. The Pharmacy is what we usually see here on this map, and we're going to be seeing that here coming out from Ohio State as we see a lot of ice shards going to be thrown towards the opponents. Ooh, we almost saw the collapse, and I don't think Walla ended up expecting that one too much, where the shield kind of just went down all of a sudden. He got a lot of damage onto his opponents, but wasn't able to get anything for his troubles. As we see a lot of poke coming out from the opponents, Walla just going to be doing a whole lot of damage. Usually Jub is the main DPS. Jesse going to grab his first kill here of this match, and he's not going to be getting rezzed, or Fat Mike is not going to be getting rezzed here. I spoke a little bit too soon. He's going to be getting rezzed. He's completely fine. As we see Walla grab a kill onto one of the main opponents, but Ohio is not in the same position as St. Clair was. They are allowed to fall. They're allowed to die and come back and reset.
They have time to breathe.
Exactly.
Decide if this is working, and then make the changes necessary.
We'll see if the changes necessary are enough as we see Orisa pull out two, or pulls out one, and it forces the second one to come back down. As Sigma going to be taking a whole lot of damage. Walla going to grab his first kill. Damage as well going to grab his first kill here of this round. Crypt even going to grab a kill for himself. The tanks are the spotlight here in this one. Kingdom Heart just for his troubles. And we also see Walla just going to be setting up the BM turret just to try and shove his opponents back and to grab a kill on the one that we initially saw fall very low. As May gets on back, and we're going to see a reset come in from St. Clair. Ohio State have about one more push before coming on to, or before actually losing this round. I believe this is also a best of 3, so we only see these 2 games. And we'll see if St. Clair can close this one out. I know, it's all these little strats coming out here. They want to try and take over this right side room. As we see May go up on top, it is Reaper going to fall. He ends up closing out, but the Farah going to be coming in. Ends up destroying one, ends up destroying 2, and St. Clair are not able to respond. And I say that a little bit too early as Jub going to grab 1, going to grab 2. Jesse going to grab a kill for himself. Can Ohio State close this one out, or is St. Clair going to win? And it looks like St. Clair are going to defend this point as the opponents just want to try and back off for one more push.
That's the wonderful thing about May, is that if she has her freezing ability, she can just hole up on point, wait for her team, give them the seconds that they need.
Even though St. Clair lost 2, May was still able to do something. Kingdom Heart going to now res Jub as the Sigma ult's going to grab 1 and is also going to kill 1. Bastion now needs to set up his tower, or at least needs to find a new position for himself, and can't find it just yet. He's going to try and just heal himself as the rest of the team is just going to try and clean up as best as possible. Jub going to actually fall into the hands of Farah. We see who exactly can end up killing the Farah here. So far, it's absolutely nobody, as Justin needs to now drop down and try and heal as much of his allies as possible. Going to do it actually really effectively here, and I speak again a little bit too soon as Farah comes in. 1, 2, 3, boop, boop, boop. Is going to destroy her competition.
The eyes were on the ground when at that moment they needed to be on the sky. The Farah Mercy combo coming in clutch again.
That's it. Sometimes when you defeat Farah Mercy the first time, it doesn't mean that you defeated her the second time. That's obvious. But we're gonna finish. We'll try and finish this map up, and we can also see the overtime going to be coming through here for Ohio State. Can they push as far as St. Clair did, or is St. Clair going to be able to get some sort of a pick? And that's the name of the game. Can St. Clair get a pick? How are they going to do so?
Can they knock them off the payload and keep them off?
That's it. And the Baptist wall going to be going down. It's going to grab 1, which is really, really good. Walla going to destroy one of the main opponents, and is not going to get res for the time being. Orisa going to grab her second kill as Walla is going absolutely insane. And that's going to be it, as St. Clair going to grab game number 2 here in this best of 3 set.
Ooh, that last game. That was good to see. My heart's still kind of racing from watching it a lot. The May ult at the end there, freezing the team with the Baptiste, his wall. Beautiful.
You see the boys in the other room going absolutely insane. I'm sure you guys heard the claps coming through as they went absolutely crazy. Oh my goodness. That was insane. We'll talk a lot more about St. Clair as we go on into our second series. That's actually going to be coming up in just, I believe, an hour. I don't know how long we got, but we have a little bit of time before our last one. What do you think about that match as a whole?
As a whole, I thought it was really interesting to watch. I was always I was leaning forward. I had to wait, no, sit back, compose yourself. But it was hard. I just got so engrossed in the fight itself, watching the different combinations and then switching off. And they're just choices, the big brain choices that kind of help them win the games.
I loved seeing all of the different combos and just the flexibility of seeing Clair. When they were down on their luck, they were able to switch and just reset the mental and come back. But we will be jumping into a brand new game, a brand new set in just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for joining us for this Ohio State game. We'll see you guys in just a little bit, however long that is. But from the casting desk, we'll be just a little bit.